Okay, for this project, we're going to start with a piece of paper and we're going to fold it into thirds. So I hold my paper over like that and I want it about the same width as what it's left that I see. Then I fold that piece over and now I'm not creasing, I'm just holding it. And then look, and I want the three little pieces to be about the same length. So it's kind of like a telescope or like I'm folding a burrito, and I want those pieces to be about the same length. Now when it's about the same, I pinch with both my fingers so they're pinched. Then I can lay it down on my desk and I can crease one side, fold it, and crease the other. All right. Okay, then just turn it over and write your name at the back on the bottom. Okay, then flip it back and you can choose which piece goes on top. It really does not matter, it's up to you. So I'm just going to keep mine this way, and then I want to start with a wave in my foreground. So the wave is going to be closest to us. So I'm drawing a big loop like that, and then I'm going to actually cut it out. Now because I'm going to cut it, I actually want my wave a little thicker. This is why we're using pencil. If you ever want to change something, you can just erase it. Okay, and then just go around and I'm going to cut out that little curve that I made. A tip for cutting something like this is I'm actually rotating the paper around as my scissors cut. So I'm just going really slow. I like to think of my scissors like a little alligator, and he's just biting away at the paper that I no longer want. Okay, now for this part, since I'm getting rid of it, you can just cut on the crease that you already made when you folded. It's really easy to cut on a crease. It's like halfway done for you. So just follow that line, cut it, and there you go. That's my foreground. Then you can see that behind it, that's going to be my middle ground. So for my middle ground, I'm going to keep the theme of water going because the foreground has this really big wave. So I'm just going to create some little wiggle lines, and that's also going to be some waves so that I can tell the difference in which part of my landscape I'm doing. I'm going to cut on that little line, then cut on the creased line. That part goes away. So this is my foreground, middle ground fold, and then my background. Instead of just keeping it straight like that, I'm just doing like little curves. Sorry, you can't see it. There you go. And then I'm going to cut that away, and that last flap will be my background. Okay, then cut out what I do not want for the background anymore, and then I will be ready to move on to start designing. So here I have my foreground, middle ground, and background. And now is a good time to grab your pencil and let's start designing. Since the front is a wave, notice how I opened it like that? That's gonna make it a lot easier to draw on. And when we're using pencil, a good tip is to hold your pencil further back, and that will let you draw lighter lines. So something I like to say is light until it's right. That way, if you do make a mistake, you can easily erase. All right, now for the midground. So since there was a big wave in the front, I want to keep that theme of water going. So I'm just going to draw some little lines to look like waves. And it's a good tip to close your foldable so that you can see what it looks like when it's closed, and then open it to draw. Just kind of go back and forth as you're working. All right, in my background, I want to draw a big sun. And so there's my little half circle and some lines for the rays. Okay, so I have drawn my design with pencil. Now it's time to go over it with some color. I love how marker and colored pencil look when layered together. So I'm going to outline my pencil lines with marker, then color with colored pencil. All right, after you outline with marker, see how you can still see the pencil lines? A good tip is that you should erase your pencil lines if you want to. I just think it makes it look a little more neat and adds some higher quality to your artwork. Also, check it out. I want to outline that little curve that I cut with my marker, but I don't want my desk to get dirty with marker. So use the scrap paper, place it behind it as a work mat, and then you can use your marker. It doesn't matter if it gets on the scrap of paper because you're just going to recycle that anyways. All right, and now you can see that it's all outlined in blue. I like the way that looks, so if you want to try it, you can do that this week. Okay, after I outline with marker, I want to color with colored pencil. Here's some advice on ways to color if you're using a colored pencil. So I'm gonna hold my pencil further back. If I hold it up tight, I'm gonna have too much pressure. So I'm on the back and I'm just going side to side like that. That will create a really smooth and even coloring, and it just looks really nice. When you are coloring, try to use best craftsmanship. That means you're trying your hardest, you're taking your time, and just making it look as nice as you can. All right, I'm gonna fast forward here and so that you can see what I do on my next part. So I had layered some different light blue, dark blue, and a purple on top of each other just to make it look a little more interesting. So you could also try that too. All right, close it up, look at your middle ground, and let's start coloring that. Again, I'm gonna use marker first, then color with colored pencil. All right, so I skipped forward. That's what it looks like so far. Here it is open, and now let's do the background. Now, just so you know, this took me a long time to color this. I really went slow, and even my hand started to hurt at one point, so I had to take a little break. That is totally fine. I'd rather you take your time and be really proud of your artwork than rush to get it done. Okay, so first I outlined in marker, and then now I'm coloring colored pencils. So you can see I actually created a pattern, and I'm blending the orange and the yellow together. So it creates this really cool effect. I have to go back and use the yellow, and then I use the orange, and I just continue until it's nice and blended to where I want it to look. You could always try that. It's fun. It kind of reminds me of painting, but I'm using colored pencils. All right, then if I fold it up together, this is what it looks like. I have my foreground, middle ground, and background.